Forget the letter H. Forget the letter U. Today we're talking about a full letter O. A prefab home built as a complete ring, wrapped entirely around its own private courtyard. No open side. No street-facing gap. The courtyard sits dead center, fully enclosed by the home on every single side. You could be standing in your own backyard, completely hidden from the entire outside world, without a single fence in sight. I've seen a few real examples of this pop up recently, and I think it's one of the most interesting shapes in residential design right now. Today we're breaking down exactly why this shape works, where it comes from, and where I think it can genuinely go wrong if you're not careful. Before we dig into this one, if unusual shapes like this get you as curious as they get me, subscribe to Elite Prefab Homes. That's genuinely what keeps this channel making videos like this one. Let's define the shape clearly, because it's easy to confuse with a U-shape or courtyard home. And it's genuinely different. A U-shape has 3 sides and 1 open end. The courtyard is exposed on one side to the street, the yard, or the view. An O-shape closes that 4th side completely, forming a full loop. The living spaces wrap all the way around, and the courtyard sits fully enclosed at the center, visible only from inside your own home. One real example that got a lot of attention is a project sometimes called House O, designed for a wood-carving artist and inspired directly by the rings of a tree stump. It's a genuinely donut-shaped structure, with a central courtyard and a staircase that spirals around that courtyard, connecting the different levels as you move through the home. My honest first reaction: the first time I saw this shape, it looks almost architecturally stubborn, like a designer deliberately avoided the easiest, cheapest option out of pure conviction. And that's actually part of what makes it interesting. This isn't a shape you land on by accident. Every part of it is an intentional trade-off. Here's the actual design logic behind closing that 4th side. Because it's more than just a stylistic flex. With a U-shape, your courtyard privacy depends entirely on what's happening on that open side. A fence, distance from your property line, or just hoping your neighbors aren't looking. Close that loop into a full O, and your courtyard becomes private by construction, not by landscaping. Nobody can see in unless they're standing inside your own home. That changes how you actually use the space. A courtyard in a U-shaped home often still feels semi-public, especially on a smaller lot. A courtyard in a fully enclosed O-shape feels like a genuine outdoor room. You can walk out there without getting dressed for the world to see you, because there is no the world looking in. My favorite feature of this entire concept, hands down, total courtyard privacy, without needing a single additional fence, hedge, or privacy screen. That's an enormous win on a tight urban or suburban lot, where privacy usually costs you either money or square footage. Here's a benefit that doesn't get talked about enough, and it's honestly my second favorite thing about this shape. Because the home forms a complete loop, circulation becomes fundamentally different than in a typical rectangular or U-shaped home. Instead of dead-end hallways where you have to backtrack the way you came, you can walk in one continuous direction and arrive back where you started. In the House O example specifically, that circulation was intentionally designed as a spiral, starting at a lower-level breakfast area and continuing upward, level by level, until you reach the bedroom at the top. Think about how much of a normal home's square footage gets eaten up by hallways that exist purely to get you back to where you started. An O-shape can turn that wasted circulation space into an actual architectural feature, a loop you experience as part of the home's daily rhythm, not just a connector between rooms. My honest opinion? This is the part of the design I think more architects should be stealing, even for homes that aren't fully circular. The idea of a loop instead of a dead end changes how a home feels to move through every single day. Let's talk physics again, because Like every unusual shape we've covered on this channel, the O shape has a genuine performance benefit baked into its geometry, not just an aesthetic one. Because every room faces inward toward the central courtyard, as well as potentially outward toward the exterior, you get natural light and airflow from two directions instead of one. That inner courtyard becomes a light well and ventilation source for the entire ring, letting sunlight and fresh air reach deep into rooms that would otherwise be stuck, relying entirely on exterior-facing windows. This is the same underlying design principle you see in circular retreat-style homes, built around a lush interior courtyard. A continuous roofline forming a shaded perimeter walkway on the outside, with the courtyard core providing daylight and natural ventilation to everything wrapped around it. My take? This is a genuinely underrated performance benefit. A rectangular home only gets light and air from its outer perimeter. An O shape doubles your light and airflow sources without adding a single extra window to the exterior facade. Worth mentioning here, some companies are taking this even further, with fully round, standalone circular prefab units, rather than a full ring wrapped around a courtyard. These circular structures use a round roof, supported by a truss system, with a central ring connection, and they can be built in as little as a day on site. What's interesting is how these companies talk about the shape. Instead of the boxy, mid-century modern look most prefab defaults to, a circular structure is described as more organic, working with the natural flow of landscaping rather than fighting against it, closer to a garden structure than a rigid geometric box. My honest opinion? This isn't quite the same concept as a full O-shaped home wrapped around a courtyard, but it's a cousin of the same idea. Circular geometry solving problems that rectangular geometry simply can't. If you love the aesthetic of curves and rings, but don't need a full family home, a compact circular ADU like this might scratch that same itch on a much smaller budget. Now let's get honest about manufacturing. Because a full ring shape is genuinely one of the harder geometries to prefab well. Standard modular and panelized construction methods are built around straight walls and right angles, flat panels, rectangular modules, predictable connections. A true circular or ring-shaped structure breaks almost all of those assumptions. Curved walls, curved roof trusses, and non-standard connection points between sections all require more custom engineering than a typical rectangular module. That's exactly why the most successful examples of this shape tend to come from specialized manufacturers who've built their entire process around curved and circular geometry from day one, rather than a general modular company trying to bend their existing rectangular system into a ring. If you're shopping for something like this is the single most important question to ask a manufacturer directly. Have they actually built curved or ring-shaped structures before, or would yours be their first attempt at bending their standard rectangular process into something it wasn't designed for? Let's talk numbers honestly, because I don't want anyone walking away from this video thinking an O-shaped home is a budget option. It generally isn't. Curved walls and curved roof structures cost more to engineer and more to build than straight ones, full stop. You're also dealing with more total exterior wall length relative to your interior square footage compared to a simple rectangle, which drives up material costs per square foot of actual usable space. And because this shape is still relatively rare, you're less likely to find a manufacturer with a repeatable, pre-engineered ring design ready to go. More of the process ends up custom, which adds cost almost everywhere. My honest take? This is not the shape to chase if your primary goal is minimizing cost per square foot. This is the shape to chase if privacy, natural light, and a genuinely unique daily living experience matter more to you than squeezing the most square footage out of every dollar. Here's the mistake I really want you to hear clearly, because it's the one I see trip people up on every circular or ring-shaped design, without exception. Curved walls are brutal for standard furniture. A rectangular sofa, a standard kitchen cabinet run, a typical dresser, none of that sits flush against a curved wall the way it does against a straight one. People fall in love with the render of a ring-shaped home and completely forget that every single piece of furniture they already own or plan to buy was designed for straight walls. Before you commit to a design like this, actually map your real furniture or your planned furniture against the curved floor plan. Don't assume you'll figure it out later. I've seen curved wall projects turn into a constant, low-grade frustration because nothing quite fits flush, and every piece of furniture ends up floating awkwardly away from the wall instead of sitting cleanly against it. Quick practical note before we get to the verdict. Because this shape does bring genuine structural considerations you need to plan around. A ring or circular structure needs a curved or segmented foundation, which is more complex to lay out and pour than a standard rectangular slab. Roofing a ring shape typically means either a continuous curved roof structure or a series of angled segments meeting at the ring's geometry, both of which require more specialized engineering than a standard gable or flat roof. And running plumbing and electrical through curved wall sections takes more planning than snapping standard runs through straight stud bays. None of that makes this shape impossible. Clearly, real examples exist and function beautifully. It just means you need a design and engineering team that's genuinely experienced with curved geometry, not a standard rectangular home contractor taking on their first ring-shaped project as a learning experience on your dime. Let's be practical. Who should actually consider building something like this? If privacy is your #1 priority, especially on a tight urban or suburban lot where you can see your neighbor's windows from your own backyard, this shape solves that problem more completely than almost any other layout available. If you value a genuinely unique daily living experience, and you're drawn to circular geometry and continuous circulation over a standard hallway and rooms layout, this is a shape that delivers something most homes simply can't. Who should think twice? Anyone prioritizing cost per square foot above almost everything else. This is not that shape. Anyone who already owns a house full of standard rectangular furniture and doesn't want to replace much of it. And anyone on a lot too small or too irregularly shaped to actually accommodate a full ring footprint. Because unlike a rectangle, this shape doesn't compress or stretch easily to fit an awkward lot. Here's where I land. I think the O-shaped home is one of the most genuinely distinctive residential concepts I've covered on this channel. And it's not distinctive just for the sake of standing out. The privacy benefit and the dual-direction natural light are both real, measurable advantages, not just aesthetic flexes. But I want to be straight with you. This is an advanced, specialized build. It demands a manufacturer with real curved geometry experience, a genuine willingness to rethink your furniture plan, and a budget that reflects custom engineering rather than a repeatable rectangular module. Get all of that right, and you've built one of the most private, most naturally lit homes I've seen in this category. Get it wrong, and you've built an expensive, awkward curve that fights you every single day. So, is the O-shaped home a passing design fad, or a real answer for people chasing genuine privacy and a completely different daily living experience? I think it's a little of both. Niche, absolutely, but built on design principles that are genuinely sound, not just novelty for its own sake. If unconventional shapes like this are exactly the kind of content you want more of, that's precisely what Elite Prefab Homes is here for. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Would you actually live inside a full ring wrapped around your own private courtyard? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one.